Engine 1 from Car 1. Car 1's on scene at Subin Command. Give me a C.A.N report.
What's up, everybody? This is Mike Goldstein, Stickers of the C.A.N Report, with another podcast. This one's going to be a badass one. I got my man Bryson Hue. Aloha to Bryson Hue. He's in New Mexico right now. Just came back from one bad tour, and I'm excited to have him on my show tonight. I truly have never met anybody who smiles more than Bryson Hue. Whatever he's doing, the dude's always got a smile on his face. And he's a truly humble being, and I am truly blessed to have him on the show tonight. Bryson Hue, thank you so much for being on here, brother.
No way, brother. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We'll give you one of those shakas, right? Aloha.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So Bryson Hue, he's 33 years old. He's originally from Honolulu, Hawaii. He began his career with the Federal Fire Dept, Navy region in Hawaii back in 2020. He moved away 2 years ago to El Paso, Texas. That's a huge jump and huge change in climate. Then he recently moved again and now currently living in the land of enchantment of White Sands, New Mexico. He's about 30 minutes away from Las Cruces, and he currently works for the White Sands Missile Range Fire Department. He's married and has 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls. Cool, man. Then anything you want to add in that? Anything that I've missed? Or
No, not at all. You hit it all.
All right, brother. Well, man, this is certainly cool. Bryson Hue, he loves the fire service. This dude is he's in it to win it. He doesn't know the meaning of quit. He doesn't know the meaning of stop. This dude just loves to be around solid people. Man, you just love to do it all. I am so happy to have you on here tonight. So, dude, we'll dive in. So you're from Honolulu, Hawaii, and
I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii, yes.
What's that like, dude? Like, how does it? Honestly, I've always been really interested. What is the fire service like in your general area when you were growing up? Is it anything like it is, in like, say, for FDNY or Boston or, California? Like, how is it growing up for you? Is it the same like for the kids growing up here, in the regular states here? I don't know how to say it. I don't want to, insult you, but like the mainland or however you want to word it. But is it the same like it is, for us as it is for you over there?
And so, back home in Hawaii, I never thought I wanted to be a firefighter at all. But, certain local boys growing up, their family, their uncles, their fathers, they work for Honolulu Fire. And it's every local boy's dream is to work for HFD. Honolulu Fire is like the premier fire department on Oahu. So
They test every 3 years, the last
that I have known. And a lot of the local candidates, they actually can't pass the written test. So it's pretty difficult. So with them not passing the test, they try to find another avenue. They'll either go to Fed Fire Hawaii, which doesn't have a written test, but they have a PAT. They have a PAT. You pass the PAT, you go on to the interview, and then you get selected. You go through recruit class. So that's kind of how it works. I can't really say for the neighboring fire departments on the other islands, such as Maui and Kauai. But as far as I know that if you're homegrown over there, I've heard like you're favored versus if you're from Oahu and you're going to go fly and try to work for another fire department on the neighboring islands. I don't know how true that is. That's just what I've heard. But
Sure.
It is every local boy's dream in Hawaii to be a Honolulu firefighter. You see them in the grocery stores, you see them at Costco, you're like, man, I want to be that. I want that feeling. When everybody's shopping and they enter the store, everybody looks at you like you're a god. Seeing that back then, I kind of wanted that feeling. But my journey was a little different, and in no way, shape, or form have I ever thought I was going to be a firefighter at all.
And why is that?
So back then, I was working for Coca-Cola for the most of my career. I thought I was just going to sell soda for the rest of my life. I remember it was a Friday. I was standing in line at the movie theater, and I was behind this mother and her 2 sons. The mother, she was just sitting on the side. She was sitting against the wall. Her 2 boys were playing. Man, I'm 33 right now. I would like to say like 28, 27.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So around there, so going back to the mom, she's sitting against the wall. Her two sons are running around. They're playing. They're about 4 and 5 years old, if that. I just remember the youngest son, he goes to sit in the mother's lap. And I just vividly remember he goes, "I'm tired, mommy." His brother sprints, jumps on the mom and the brother. He whiplashes his head back into the ground and he goes completely unconscious. The mom, she looked at me, she grabbed me. I've never felt this feeling before. If you have kids, sorry, I do get emotional because I remember going back to that time.
Sure, man.
If you have kids, you're going to do whatever you can for your kids. I just
Absolutely.
remember the mother just grabbing me and she said, "Please help my son." I've never felt so helpless in my life. I've only known, working for Coca-Cola, I had no point in life. I didn't know anything about basic life support or CPR or any of that. Ever since then, I vowed to myself to never, ever let someone feel like that ever again. From there, I quit my job for being with Coke for 8 years.
Wow.
I just did it. I didn't have any job, but I remember going home that night. I just cried. I cried. I resigned from my job. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no benefits. Yeah, I just did it on a whim. I had this feeling in me where I wanted to do something else that had a purpose in life.
So you quit your job solely to be able to become a firefighter?
So that was the thing. So all my friends, they were firefighters,
But I knew the way back in Hawaii,
if you had your EMT, that was kind of like
the golden ticket. When you're an EMT in Hawaii, so I went to Kapiolani Community College back in 2019. So I got my national registry, but with that national registry, you also have your state of Hawaii licensed EMT, which allows you to have a bigger scope of practice. So that gives you an advantage over the other candidates. So I went to do that. At that time, Honolulu Fire wasn't hiring, but at that time, Fed Fire Hawaii was hiring. So I went that route.
Okay. Now, to jump back to that experience you had at the movie theater, did the kid make it okay?
I don't know. I just remember city and county
EMS, all they did was just take the mom and the kids away. I don't know.
So that experience happened, the kid went unconscious and you just like, shit. And then you just walked out or?
Yep. I froze.
Yeah.
When the mom grabbed me, I froze.
Luckily, there was a nurse
that came by. She was a nurse.
Luckily
Sure.
for her.
Yep.
So you had that experience of kind of feeling helpless, and you felt guilt because of that, huh?
I did.
Yeah. It's amazing how that can affect certain people of when you see somebody needing help, and it's either kind of like a fight or flight method as well, right? Like there's people that jump right in, even if they don't know what they're doing. Sometimes it's more harm than good, and other times it's they're doing something really well. Especially dealing with a kid, because sometimes you just don't want to touch them because you're not sure. You don't want the parents to now blame you because the kid is either worse off or something else happens, right? But yeah, that's a crazy experience, man. To be able to take that and affect you so much that you just felt empowered in this drive now to help others and never be in that position again. Because other people just would have walked away and be like, "Well, I hope the kid makes it."
Nope.
But the fact that it touched you so much that it's like a message from God, right? Like you're now, I want you to do something more with your life, and I'm going to make you do it. And it's definitely a message, and it's an inspiration to go and carry that on. So you went the other route with, I'm sorry, which department again?
Fed Fire Hawaii.
Fed Fire Hawaii. So what was that like there? So what was the testing process for Fed Fire?
So before coming on to Fed Fire Hawaii,
I took up 2 part-time lifeguarding jobs for about a year. I did that with no benefits, and having those 2 part-time lifeguarding jobs, on my free time, I would go volunteer. I would always think about, what are the other firefighter candidates? What are they not doing that I should be doing? You kind of studying your opponents, to kind of get an edge on them. So I was doing that. And so for Fed Fire Hawaii back in 2020, I do the CPAT, go through the interview. And then after that, I was selected to go through recruit class. getting that email, that was like one of the best days of my life. Yeah, I feel like when you get that email to become a firefighter in Hawaii, you pretty much made it. Everybody looks at you in a different way and whatnot. But yeah, recruit class was about 6 to 8 months. And, I think in my mind during recruit class at that time was, honestly, I'm not going to lie, it was just to get by. Yeah, I wasn't used to that structured atmosphere. And my classmates, I know they wasn't used to it too. But for sure, 6 to 8 months go by, and I remember, like, man, I'm at the very end. We're at the end. I struggled in recruit class, I'm not going to lie. But when you have that feeling of being close to the end, you're being 2 weeks away from graduation, you're blazing through the EMS portion because you killed it in community college during the EMT. You're the first person to finish his last test. And all of a sudden, the assistant chief, he pulls you out. He stands you in the front of headquarters and he goes, "You're looking at being terminated. You're looking at being fired." I was like, "Are you kidding me? This gotta be a joke. This has to be a joke right now. There is no way." 2 weeks before graduation, everything that I had worked so hard for, my dreams are now gonna be crushed.
Now, when you're going through that class, you're not being paid, correct?
You are being paid.
Okay.
You are being paid. So with Fed Fire, it's a little different. It's Department of Defense, so their pay scale is a little different. But for Hawaii, they start their employees pretty low, so it was pretty rough at the time.
Sure, man. Yeah. So, assistant chief comes in and says you're going to almost be terminated. What's the deal with that?
So he had this list, and I read the list, and it was everything that I guess they had taken note of my recruit training officer. And then I remember he goes, "Okay, I'm going to give you an hour to kind of think about it. We're going to go drive to see the base commander now, and you're going to basically plead your case." I'm like, wow, I'm still trying to process this. Like, I got to tell my wife, like, what is going on? Like, I couldn't believe it at the time, but we drive to the base commander, and he's the boss of the whole entire Navy region, Hawaii. I sit down with him, I'm crying in front of him. I'm the assistant chief. And then basically when I'm done, it's like, in 30 minutes, I'll make a decision. In that 30 minutes, I remember getting this letter, and I still have that letter today, and I use it as motivation every day. I use it as motivation, and I go back to that. And I'm like, this can't be real. At that time, I was like, this is not happening to me. I have a newborn son. How am I going to support my family now? I really wish they gave me a heads up. It was kind of like everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. That was my punch in the face, because I'm like, man, how am I going to feed my family? How am I going to pay rent? So all that was happening, and it was just crazy to me.
So what was the reason? Did you ever find out? And did you get terminated? I
did get terminated. My last day, I did get terminated.
Shit.
A lot of people, they said, man, you can just resign right now. And the union, they were fighting for me. The union was fighting for me. Big shout out to Reed Shimabukuro. He's now retired, but Reed did a lot for me. And the Fed Fire Hawaii Union, there's a lot of good brothers and sisters over there. So I was terminated on September 1st, 2020. And I didn't resign. I stayed all the way. Until those last 2 weeks. I was required to come to work. I pulled weeds outside of the headquarters. I did all this administration stuff. I was washing the chief's vehicles. And I still did all that with a smile on my face. It was hard to come. It was hard to put on the Class B uniform knowing that you were going to be let go from the greatest job.
What was the reason?
So the reasons that they had was I wasn't able to function in stressful environments. I don't know if at that time if that was true, because we're recruits, we're brand new recruits. Like, we're all going to struggle. This is a new environment to us.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I was the one that got selected to be booted out. And it is what it is.
Wow, it's crazy, because you kind of nailed it right there, is that you're recruits, so you're not trained to handle the situations of that kind of stress factor. That's why you go through the training. That's why you learn fire behavior, just to sit for us, in the north, we have a flashover simulator. We make our students go sit in that. It's not necessarily to induce stress, but it is kind of for us as instructors to see where they're at on their comfort level. So they're sitting in live fire. They're protected with a hose line. It's a small Connex box, and we're in there for about 15, 20 minutes, and it gets to be over 800 degrees, and you can see fire rolling over your head, and we put it out, and we show them ventilation and, the whole science behind fire. But at the same time, they're getting hot. Obviously, they're on air. Your gear is getting saturated with heat. And it's for us, we're also gauging to see how well they're going to respond by sitting in that kind of environment. They're learning, but at the same time, so are we. Are they going to be able to handle this heat? Because that's part of our process is to see where they're at. But I can tell you from my experience, I don't think I've ever failed a student because they couldn't handle the stress of either moving a hand line or doing search or doing self-survival or fire behavior. That's where we teach them how to breathe. We teach them how to cope with that stress environment. We calm them down. When I see somebody that's sucking down their bottle and almost hyperventilating, that's our job as instructors to pull them aside and say, okay, hold on a second. You've never done this before. This is what I want you to do. I want you to control your breathing. I want you to look around you. You're in a safe place. All of that we teach that we learn over time, because that's something I want someone to do to me. And that's insane, man, to think that they're going to fail you because you couldn't handle the stress level of it, because that's something learned. It's not inherited. It's learned how to deal and handle that stress.
For sure. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
So they booted you. And what did you do with that?
Man, ever since from getting fired from there, I had all my certs already. I had my firefighter 1, firefighter 2, hazmat A&O, and my EMT along with my state EMT. So with that, I was going to wait for either Honolulu fire or state of Hawaii airport fire. And my mindset was like, man, I am not going to go back to Fed fire. I don't think I can do, being let go 2 weeks before graduation. Like, am I going to experience that again? The demons started rolling in. Like, I don't want to go through that again. So after that, I went back to lifeguarding again. But I knew Fed Fire Hawaii, they were going to hire again. I was not going to go back. Not at all. I was too embarrassed. I was too ashamed. Until I got word that my wife was pregnant with our daughter. When I heard that, it just flipped in me. It just flipped the switch, and I was I'm going to go back. I'm going to prove everyone who doubted me wrong. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my family.
Right on. Yeah. So you went back. They accepted you.
Yes.
How did that go the second time?
So the second time, I had a lot more confidence. I could see the other new recruits, the mistakes that they were making. I was a class leader of that class, and, I think I really needed that, having a leadership role. And I believe for the Fed Fire Hawaii class of 2021, I think that's the first ever recruit class where they graduated everybody. So that's something that I'm proud of. I don't think that has nothing to do on my end.
Sure.
But I would like to say that my classmates in the class, I think I've helped a lot. I've helped a lot of them.
That's impressive. How big was the class?
The class, I would like to say it was between maybe 30 to 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many classes do they run a year?
So I don't know how it is now. I really don't keep up. So they'll probably run about 1 or 2 a year, depending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in the area that you were living in, are there a lot of volunteer departments? Is there a lot of volunteer firefighters?
Oh man, I wish. There's none at all.
Okay. That's why I had a feeling. I mean, again, so how does anybody learn? You have to come in green to learn how to be a firefighter, because if there's no call departments or volunteer departments, I mean, I think that's why, like when you said, like when you go in a grocery store and you see a Honolulu Fire Department a it's like, because
exactly
you don't see many. They're the only ones. They're the only ones that are firefighters, and it's like the elite. It's the best of the best, because there's nobody else in your state to be doing that, because there's no other departments there. So I can understand like the idle status of it, and man, to have that kick in the nuts like that, but then to come back and kick ass and your whole group graduates, man, that's impressive.
It really took a lot, brother. I wasn't going to, and I like to tell people out there, like, when you're close to giving up, when the demons start rolling in, they start talking to you, all those negative thoughts, all lies. Do not listen. Just keep going. Because if you just kept going, you would have made it.
Yeah, love that message, bro. Absolutely. So you graduated that class. What was next?
So I graduated that class. I was assigned to Station 14, Wheeler Army Airfield. Great base. Across from us was Station 15, Schofield Barracks. Those guys, they're a great group of guys. Everybody at Fed Fire Hawaii, I love everybody. Good, very good local, humble people. That Hawaii got some killers. Don't get it twisted. Hawaii got some killers, and I always imagine these local guys, if they were to be in the mainland, man, how well they would flourish. But at Station 14, hope he doesn't kill me for saying his name, but Lieutenant Shane Furuta, he really set the standard. And at that time, I was scared as hell. I was scared of this guy. But everything that Lieutenant Furuta he had put our crew through, it really sharpened our skills. I give him all the credit today because if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have passed one bad tour.
Really?
I don't think I would have been how I am right now, just loving the fire service. I give all my thanks to Shane.
I mean, he's definitely a hard charger for sure. I've never had the pleasure to meet him in person, but we've spoken online multiple times, and I see what he does for his Fools chapter, and that's probably one of the highest performing Fools that I've seen. The caliber of instructors and guest speakers that come in, and the trainings that they have there, top notch. I mean, he gets it going. He definitely loves the service, and he just retired, right? I believe he just retired not that long ago, right?
Yes, he did. Shane is truly a gem. He really is. He is.
Yeah. So that's what I got from him. I definitely could tell he's a hard charger, loves training, loves his men, loves the fire service, and he's definitely about seeing people succeed. And from what you're saying, it's special that you guys have that bond, that you remember all that, and that kept you going for definitely the one bad tour. So you worked with him, but then you ended up leaving and going to the U.S.
Yes, working with Shane, and my wife and I, we were just tired of living in a 860 square foot apartment, with 6 of us living there. It was like, man, I'm paying $2,500 a month for this. I'm like, I gotta get out of here already.
It's super expensive, huh? I mean,
it is, yep. And that's not even including utilities. Like, you still gotta pay utilities.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful area. But I visited there. My younger sister, she's in the Navy, and she was stationed in Oahu at the naval base there, and so she was going to the Naval Flight Academy. And yeah, so we made a family trip, and I brought my girlfriend with me at the time, and we proposed there at the rainforest at the waterfalls. And
Nice.
that was it was a gorgeous moment. It was a beautiful trip. So she was pregnant at the time. We just found out not that long ago, so we took a trip to Hawaii with my family and proposed her there, and so it was a special moment. But yeah, dude, that was expensive.
It is, man. Yeah.
So you left because of living conditions, right? It was just hard the cost of living was really difficult.
Yeah, I was just tired of it because I would work my firefighter career, and then as soon as I come home, I would have to go work my lifeguarding job. And aside from my lifeguarding job, I was doing some part-time locksmithing too. So I never had time for my family. So my wife and I were talking, and my wife loves Texas. And at that time, so the good thing about, DoD Fire is you can apply anywhere you want to in the world as long as there's a military base, even international. Nice. With international, you have return rights back. So if I wanted to go to Japan, I have 5 years to come back if I wanted to.
That's awesome.
It's pretty good, and I know I've heard that for some bases they will pay for your whole move.
Right? Yeah. I have both sisters that are in the military, and they've moved multiple times, and usually the military pays for all of it, and that's definitely beneficial. So you chose Texas because your wife likes Texas.
At that time, that was the only place near Texas that was hiring, which was White Sands Missile Range. So we moved to El Paso, Texas.
Okay.
And
I remember visiting El Paso in November, and I told my wife straight up off the airplane, I am not moving here. I am not moving here. I'm not going to do it. There's no water here. It's just straight desert. I remember we're driving we're driving to go visit White Sands, and it was an hour drive from El Paso to White Sands. I just kept, we were arguing. I'm just telling her, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this. This is not the place. I'm not going here. You know, visiting White Sands, all the guys, I love the guys at White Sands Missile Range. I love them all. You know, working with the different culture, you know, being Hawaiian, it's kind of like a culture shock. I was like, man, you know, my anxiety was kind of going, I don't know how these guys are going to treat me. I'm working with the predominantly Hispanic culture, but man,
Right.
everybody at the White Sands Missile Range Fire Department was so welcoming, and that's something I will never forget. And I'm still here.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome, man. I'm born New Mexico from Albuquerque. So I visit my
Okay.
mother quite often, but I mean, I know we're far away from where you are. She lives in Rio Rancho, and I know it's some quite distance away because you're right on the border of Texas, right?
Yes. Didn't you just
Yeah.
visit too?
I did, yeah. I literally just it was for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was for Thanksgiving. I was gonna reach out to you, but I'm like, there's no way we'd be able to see each other because it's
Too
so
far.
far away.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean by it being kind of a culture shock, and and also it's kind of desolate in some areas because it's just flat land and a couple of mountains, and that's about it. There is no bodies of water to go for you to go surfing in, or to just to enjoy the shade. It's
Exactly. You miss the food from Hawaii. I'm not gonna get this food over here. Like I
yeah,
can't
man.
get fresh fish over here. Yeah.
So you went to White Sands, and do they have, since it's still military, does the military for the fire service, from what you had in Hawaii to White Sands, is it kind of relatively the same? Are the trucks kind of the same? Is hose loads the same? Is the tactics still similar? Is it interchangeable?
So coming from Hawaii and having C.A.N as my lieutenant, C.A.N set the standard. We always train. That's all we did was train and study. And coming here to White Sands, it's a little different. Not everyone is like C.A.N that has those high standards, but I'm glad he instilled that in me. But everybody at White Sands, they're hard chargers. They're hard chargers. We have 4 stations, with Station 3 being the Trinity site. The Trinity site is about maybe 2 hours away, but honestly, I've never been there yet. I've been here for like 2 years and I still never been there, but that's where they detonated the first atomic bomb, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of cool stuff that happens around here. Station 4, they fire lasers over there. I was like, man, what? Who does that? They build missiles over here, which is pretty cool. But White Sands Missile Range, we have about 90 to 100 members. That includes like the chiefs. And this department, we're a very small department, but we're full of heavy hitters.
Okay, gotcha. So do you do a lot of training, or how busy is it for you on the missile range there? Do you guys, not even familiar with the area. So is there a lot of residences there? Do you only stay on base? How does your calls go?
So we're a low volume call department, but we do train. We do train here and there up to a certain time, and the rest is downtime. But for me, after that downtime, I'm still training. I just love to train and I love to get better at the job.
Yeah.
But I'm at Station 1 right now. I live on the installation. I'm like 2 minutes away from my fire station. I don't have to worry about traffic. I save gas. I love it. But for Station 1, we have a truck. We have an engine, we have brush trucks, we have a tanker, and we have 2 chief vehicles over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your shifts like?
So our shifts, we run 48 on, 72 off, 40 on, 72 off, and then we run 48, 48.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and you like those shifts?
It's pretty good because back in Hawaii, we were 48, 48, 48, 48 with that rotating third day off.
Not too bad. All right.
Yeah.
So you're doing that, and have you ever been to fire conferences before? Was this something, moving to the States, did that start? How'd you find out about going to conferences? I guess that's a better question. Where did you learn about it?
So back home in Hawaii, all we had was the 50th state foods. We had the 50th state foods, but I remember asking on the Facebook page. I don't know if it was a RIT Nerds. It was a RIT Facebook group page. I had asked the question, and then right there, Tom Holland. Tom Holland changed my life.
Oh, man.
He reached out to
Tom.
me. Yep. Chief
Love that
Tom
guy.
Holland. I love you. Tom Holland, he messaged me. He was like, hey, give me a call. Because I asked a specific question about the RIT bag. Because honestly, we don't have like spec'd out RIT bags at White Sands. We have them, but it's not the updated versions. We don't have low pressure, high pressure hoses. We don't.
Do you have a big RIT culture on your base on that department? Military firefighting is always so interesting to me. Is do they have the same training or tactics that we would do for our? I just don't see them going to a lot of residential structure fires or commercial buildings for the most part. Like, what is it that you do? What's like your meat and potatoes of your training, and is it really RIT or is it really search or is it more of dealing with the military side of things?
It's more so dealing with the military side of things and not the structure side where you'll see in the cities and the counties, all these big name departments. It's not like that at all. It's a little different. The Army, they have their regulations that we have to abide by. And so it is very different. So it's something that I'm kind of getting used to because I'm just used to staying updated on everything just because of Shane. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. So you reached out to Tom, asking about RIT questions, and what was his reply back to you?
Chief Holling, he reached out to me and he was like, "Bro, we're having a RIT class in Church, Texas, from April 1st through the 3rd. Just come." I was like, "What do you mean, just come?
Just
Like,
come.
I have to compensate you for something." I was like, "No, bro, just come." It's like, who does that?
Not many
Like,
people,
right
dude.
there, Chief Tom Holland, he showed the Aloha Spirit. As soon as I went, it was a no quit RIT class. Met Chief Tom Holland, man, blew me away. But so did everybody else that I've met. They came along. Kevin Pfluger, Daniel Cano, Ram Cano, Michael Lugo, Brandon Wilson.
Were we at the same one?
No, we wasn't.
Oh,
This was totally different. This was their, as far as I remember, it was their CISO RIT. So all their departments in the neighboring areas.
oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Cibolo, all of them. And I was like, who's this
Gotcha.
dude from New Mexico? Like, from White Sands? Like, what is he doing here in San Antonio? Like, that doesn't make sense.
So that was your first experience going to a conference. It was your first experience doing a real RIT classes.
It
And
was.
they said, just come be a student. You don't have to pay.
Chief Tom
That's
Holland was
impressive.
like, I have someone else coming that's supposed to be instructing, but he's not going to come anymore. You can't make it. You can just stay at the station. I was like, what? Man, this is unbelievable. You don't find too many people like that. Especially
No.
he doesn't know me. Yeah, he doesn't know me at all. And he's going to invite me to this class. He's going to invite me to stay at his station. Like, that is unreal.
So I could definitely emphasize with you on that, dude. Like, when I first met them, I was blown away. Continuously preach on most podcasts that I do, and whoever I speak to when they ask about conferences, I'll always talk about that because I was blown away by the brotherhood with Tom, with Kevin, with the Cano brothers, with Lugo, with all of them, Matty Garcia, and God, there's just so many that just became friends, became brothers. That it's an everlasting relationship. Rob Ramirez, I mean, it's just they don't treat you less than. And I think they respect you so much more because you're coming out, you're getting out of your comfort zone, and you're being a student of the craft. That's what they want. That's who they want to see. And the fact that, like, yeah, we don't need your money. We want you to be the student of the craft and carry that message back to your department and teach others. And
For sure.
I can't praise them enough that how they make you feel like family when, I mean, damn it, I went to his house. I went to Tom's house, and he had a big old barbecue, and he's got 60 to 80 people at his house, and you don't have to pay anything. He doesn't want anything. He just wants you to be there and be part of that family that he's built. And you look at all the photos and places that they've been, and it's just amazing to the family that they've built. You can feel that bond. They all have a super connection, and it's honestly, it's humbling to be a part of that connection. And when they say, "No, you're our family," man, you take that to heart. That's not just something they throw around either, right? Like it's right. You live it, and it's also it's just something to cherish.
Yep.
When some when people like that call you their family for life, like that's up there, man. So you went to the conference. Well, it wasn't really a conference, right? It was more of just an interdepartment training.
Yeah.
So that was your first experience, and you were hooked. I take it.
I was hooked, man.
It's something about the daggum boys. I don't know what it is, but it is addicting, and you don't want to leave, and you just want to come back for more.
You're absolutely right, dude. I am 100% addicted. It's like I said before, it's my spiritual thing every year, dude. When they bring that up now, I plan to go. It's my retreat every year. Is my retreat to go see these guys, and so you learned RIT from them. You did a lot of hands-on experience from them, and you took it back to your department.
I did. Yes, I did. After
Action report, I did.
And what did your department think of it?
They took some things away from it. We're still working on some things, but I think, from the classes that I have been attending, and I'm super grateful because they support me in all my training decisions as long as I bring stuff back and I teach everybody and we get better. But it's going really well because they're really receptive to all the new updated tactics and strategies that I'm learning from everywhere else.
That's awesome. And honestly, you got to love a department that appreciates members going out and getting that outside knowledge and bringing it back. You can go to hundreds of conferences. You can go to all these trainings, hands-on lectures. But if you don't bring it back and you just hoard it, and sometimes it's not even hoarding, right? If you go back to your department and they just don't care to ask you about it, I mean, they don't care how vested you are. And so they don't ask you about that knowledge. They don't want to see what you learned because they don't care. And so now you're just keeping it all inside, and it's great, but you're bursting at the seams because you want to show everybody what you did and all these cool things that you got taught, right? And
it's exciting.
It's exciting, and you're refreshed, you're rejuvenated, and you're amped to train and to teach. And my previous department, when I would go to these trainings, I come back, no one ever gave a shit to ask those questions. And then my new department, they love the fact that I am so involved in these type of trainings and going to get some extra ideas and learning new ways. And the biggest thing they always say is just bring it back. All we want, we will fully support you, but please teach us when you come back. Sure. And it's so humbling, and it's just an unbelievable feeling when you have people that believe in you and believe in the conferences you're going. You got to vet some of these conferences too, right? Or these outside trainings, because there's some that you go to and you don't get anything out of it. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time away from home.
Yeah,
and you can get what you put in, but there's times where you just literally got nothing out of it, and you come back and they're like, how was it? There's nothing really to show you. With stuff we've already done before, and you have to do your homework on it too. Like, actually, I went to some conferences, and a coworker of mine, we were talking about it, and he said, what'd you think about it? I said, I didn't really get anything out of it. And it wasn't because the conference wasn't good or the teaching wasn't good. It's because I've already done it, and not being like egocentrical or anything, but I've done those skills already multiple times for many years. Sure. So I literally just took the same class again. So I didn't get anything new because I've already done it like 5-10 times in a row at all the different trainings I went to. So he actually had
more reps at that point.
Exactly. You are getting more reps. So I go going, I want to learn more, but then I've already done it. And so he actually had he really put it right straight, frankly, with me, is maybe you should do things that you're not comfortable with. Maybe if you're good at doing hose deployment, or if you're good at doing RIT, maybe take a confined space training, or, a rappelling training, or something that you normally haven't done before to get out of that comfort zone. So it feels new to you. And I didn't even think about it that way. And he's like, it's the stuff I love to do with the hose and ladders and all the stuff that our bread and butter. But it really dawned on me to maybe I should sign up for different classes.
Sure.
So there's so much good stuff out there. So you went to you went to see them. You got the RIT. You brought it back. What was the next conference that you went to?
And the next one that I had went to was Castile.
Nice.
Castile.
Yeah, Castile. I had to see those boys again. And that's when I met Eric Wench in person.
The beast. Eric Wentz, the beast.
He's a beast. His arm.
That brother is
tanks.
Yeah, man. He's, like I said before, like when I first met him at Dadgum at No Quit RIT, I was like, look at this fucking beast, this monster of a man. Like,
it is.
and he's not smiling. Like when I saw him, when I looked over a couple times, we're all resting and we're getting ready to gear up again. I'm just looking over him. I guess I just caught him in his zone moment, right? Because he's not smiling. He's just like he's tuned in. He's laser focused, and his biceps are popping. And I was like, dude, this guy is a friggin' beast. And then now that I got to know him, he's like the sweetest guy. And it's just and that's the thing. Like you go to those conferences and you see people who like they look intimidated. I mean, I'm a short Jewish man, right? So I'm a funny looking little man. If people don't normally get intimidated by me, but when you see these other guys who are just these big monsters, and then you start talking to them, and they're just the sweetest, most humble people you could ever meet. That's what gets me addicted to continue to go. Because I can't say it enough, it's that networking, it's the learning who these people are, what motivates them. And this is, again, my platform is why I want to bring this to everybody else, is that it's the stories that you hear from these people. You get to talk to others about their journey, their adventures, and meeting all these people who are super humble. Like, again, like Tom Hollick, man, he's like 6'8" of humbleness. The dude is there's just like, I don't even see like an angry bone in that man's body, but he's the biggest, most sweetest guy I've ever met. It's cool to meet that. And the Castillo Way, man, what a super amazing thing to do for somebody who's given back to the fire service. And all those people who came out and donated all that money going to his family to help with his struggle that he's got going on. And thank God he's doing so well now. How was that conference? How was that environment? Like, what did you learn, and what was the family vibe there?
Man, I remember the first day of lectures, I'm sitting kind of like hiding in my car. I'm like, man, who's here right now? I'm always that guy to be early. But I remember the first man that rode up was Chief Dennis Riley. I was like, oh my God, Chief Dennis Riley. I'm kind of ashamed to, introduce myself. Chief Dennis Riley, he's pretty tall.
He's pretty tall.
But after Chief Dennis Riley, it was this big red truck that pulled up. Oh man, that's Clyde Gordon. What? I'm like, oh my God, right now, I wish, I need an autograph right now. But, you walk in, the first person I see, there was Kevin Kluger. Gave me a big old hug. There's Chief Tom Hollick. And after I see Lieutenant Dorval preparing his speech, that man is amazing. The way he talks, it just leaves you speechless.
It always gives me goosebumps, bro, every time.
Yep. Dorval, yep. And then met Chief Dave Mellon. Chief David Mellon, that guy is a big teddy bear. The way he is one of the best speakers that I've ever heard in my entire life. He really engages his audience, and he's super down to earth. Chief Dave Mellon. But that conference, it was super special. Jesse Castillo, he was sitting right next to me. Him and his whole crew, Lieutenant Joe Johnson. It was very touching. It was very powerful. And the Castillo Way, those following 2 days, we laid it all out there for him. We set the standard.
Yep.
We worked our asses off. It was hot as hell too.
Yeah, because it was like August. You guys were there, right?
Yeah.
July or August, something like that. Yeah, that's really hot.
Fluger, he hooked it up because he paired me with Wench. He paired me with Eric. Yep. So he hooked it up.
And so you got to get, again, out of your comfort zone, not just with the environment of all the heavy hitters and all the people that are there. I mean, it was a huge amount of people, but skill-wise, you got to get out of your comfort zone. Skill-wise, again, even just being in the heat, being uncomfortable, knowing that you're embracing that suck of being in full gear, working your asses off, and putting in that work, which we will jump into the One Bad Tour.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like the platform of One Bad Tour is embrace the suck. Like,
it is.
There's no quit. So do you think doing the training at Castillo Way kind of inspired you, or did it leap you forward to want to do that, or you just saw it? Did you read One Bad Tour and go, this is my next step in my journey of fire service and training and proving to myself that I'm worth it? Like, how did you get into the One Bad Tour?
So going back to One Bad Tour, the application, if I remember correctly, it came out in May. And I remember it was like a Tuesday morning. I was sitting outside at Station 2. I was just sitting on the tailboard of Engine 2. And I was like, man, am I going to apply for this class? Like, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do it because I'm not gonna get picked. I'm not gonna get selected. I'm a nobody. There's hundreds and thousands of people that are way better than me, way smarter than me, way stronger than me. Their skills are top notch. My skills aren't there. But I just did it. I just did it anyway. I did it on a whim. And then I believe it was about a month that goes by. And then I get a Facebook message. And it's Bassel. It's Bassel. And he tells me, keep training. You're number 4 on the alternate list. Man, when I heard that, I immediately cried. Not even 2 weeks later, I remember it was a Sunday. I was taking a nap. I got a text message from him. You're officially in the class. And I cried even more.
Wow, bro.
So from there, this was just before Castillo Way. But before, I was training in gear. I would always be in my gear. But it's not to the point where like you're a Marcos Orozco and you're these smoke divers. But ever since getting that message from Baz, I just upped it even more.
Because I had been following you for quite some time. You and I have been talking a lot way before a lot of this stuff. And you and I were on the same page about training and looking outside the box and doing a great job in preparing ourselves. I've always watching you. You're doing your workouts and you're doing your trainings in the heat and the gear, and you're always preparing yourself. And that was even really before the One Bad Tour. You were just doing it to get acclimated and making yourself the best you could be. Did you have a certain goal when you were doing your training once you got selected? Because it was your first time applying to One Bad Tour, correct?
It was my first time applying to any elite
program at all.
Wow, dude, that's awesome. So that was your first time applying for One Bad Tour, because not everybody gets selected the first time. As Bassel said, he's like, it's you have to apply multiple times, and it's just it's the way the selection process works, and not everyone gets selected. Don't give up. Apply next year, or apply when the application window's open. You'll eventually get in, but if anyone's ever met him, he's very intense, and he's got a direct way.
Yep.
I remember listening to attention to detail, right? Like that's what the application says. If you mess up, that gets chucked, and
for sure,
try again next time. So sometimes those applicants could be the best of the best, but if they don't follow directions, they're out of the picture. So how did you get inspired to take that class, to want to do that? Like, did you read about it? Did you see videos? Did you talk to Bassel? How did you get motivated to do that? Because you're getting your ass kicked for 24 hours. So how did you know how intense it was? Like, did you talk to somebody who took it before? Did you, at the conferences, did you talk to somebody saying, oh man, this looks like a really intense program that I want to be a part of?
I didn't talk to anybody. I guess,
I always train, even on my downtime. I'll always throw ladders outside. I'll do bunker drills. I'll do mask up drills. I'll do things so that at the end of the day, when the call comes in, when the tones drop, you're ready to go to work. You're ready for your job. It is a part of you to train. You should always be training. You're a firefighter. You can't be scared to put on your gear. You need to be acclimated. It's already a part of you. To me, like when you put on that gear, you're like Superman. Someone is looking up to you. You're a superhero in someone's eyes. And for me, training has always been natural. And, working with Shane Fruta, training with him, it upped it even more. Because I think I strongly believe we should always be operationally ready and be prepared to go to work.
100%, brother. Love it. So you got selected, then it was time to put in the work to get yourself mentally and physically ready to be able to do this.
Yes.
What was your journey to get into it? What did you do? How did you get yourself ready?
I would say my biggest mentor was Lieutenant Matt McGee from Orlando Fire. I had reached out to Matt McGee. I had listened to his podcast. If it wasn't for Matt McGee, my mindset would have been a little different. Matt McGee, he really elevated my mindset. Lieutenant Matt McGee, he's something else. Every little detail for him matters as well. But all the advice that he gave me, it was gold. I followed that to a T. Even the day before One Bad Tour, he had called me. He was giving me advice. And he was like, watch. This is what's going to happen. He told me that when class started, it happened. I was like, yeah. It's like, he already knows. Matt McGee, he already knows because he's been through it. He's been through the failures of going through smoke divers, all these guys, they've been through it. So they know what you're going to go through. Whatever
Matt McGee told me, I took it as gold. Whatever Marcos told me, I took it as gold. Everybody that I had reached out to have a journal. I wrote everything down. I obsessed over it. I analyzed it. I took everything as gold.
What were some of the big takeaways from some of that advice? What was some key information that really is in front of your mind that you can remember right now?
Suffer in silence. Don't give up. When things get shitty, and it will
get shitty, just remember your why and why you're doing it.
You're doing it for you.
You're doing it for your family.
You're just doing it because it's right.
You're a firefighter. For me, being in one bad tour, applying for the class, it was kind of like,
I need this. I need this accomplishment
because I need to know everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm training for. When I'm out there by myself late at night, I need to know that it's all worth it. And one bad tour, it really fulfilled my heart in doing so.
That's awesome. It's amazing to have so many people inspire you and push you through that mentally, just to have that in your brain when the times got tough, even training to prepare, that they're already in your mind, pushing you to make sure that you know how to continue to stay the game and to focus. Now, you wanted to do this, you knew some information about it. What did you say to your wife? Like, how did you sell this? I imagine you had to sell it to her. Like, hey, honey, I want to go to Florida to get my ass kicked for 24 hours. Like, what was that like?
He said, you better pass.
That's the first thing she said was, you better pass. You spent all this money. It's too late now. You're going 100% all in.
No, but my wife, before you paid for it, I got so excited. Before you paid for it, though, like, you had to tell her about it, I imagine, right? You didn't just you didn't just sign up for it and not tell her.
No.
Did you present the idea to her? Did you tell her about this is one of my goals, this is my dreams? And I imagine she asked well, what is it? And when you explained it to her, did she think you were crazy about what this whole thing entails? Like the actual program? Did you tell her what it was like?
Yeah, I mean, she already knew because of my days off. I'm always watching firefighter stuff. I'm always reading something. I'm always learning something to get better at the job. So she already knows who I am. I have a hard time turning it off, so I'm still learning to do that. But yeah, I'm still learning to turn it off. Yeah,
dude, I'm in the same. I was at home. I had worked a 48, and I come home, and I was reading. I don't know if I was reading the Book of Search, so I was reading something else, and then I'm watching videos of some other fire stuff. My wife's like, "You just lived at the firehouse for 48 hours straight, and now you're watching and reading more stuff. Don't you think you've had enough?" And that's what's great about having a support system. Is there's times where you need that reminder, like, yeah, you need to turn it off. Like, you just live that life now. It's family time. So watch a cartoon with your kids, or watch a comedy, or you don't need to be so engaged 100% of the time every day. You got to do other things to break your mind from that, because it can become overwhelming, where actually you could stop giving a shit, because you become so overwhelmed with all that information. You're just like, I don't care anymore. Your mind's automatically just going to shut off and like, I can't take any more information. I need you to turn that YouTube off, or I need you to close that book of whatever fire material you're reading, because I just can't attain any more information. So I love that. My wife's a no shit kind of person, so she's just gonna be like, stop it.
Yep,
so
exactly.
you got accepted, man. I mean, it's something really incredible and something to really be proud of. You got into one bad tour, so you make it to Florida. What happens next?
Cool. Make it to Florida. I'm texting Marcos. Pick Marcos up from the airport.
It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. You immediately go back to sleep, and then we're just mentally preparing already. You can see, for the most part, all the candidates, we were all staying at the same hotel. So we were all kind of picking each other's brains, getting to know each other and whatnot. And that was really cool. The bonds that you make and the friendships that you make is everlasting. And when it came to game day,
everybody was serious.
When we go to the training ground, everybody's outside of their vehicles, like, do we go? Are we waiting for instructions to line up with our waivers and whatnot? You immediately see all the instructors, and you immediately see Baz. Baz, he really holds the standard. He walks and he talks it. That is the leader that we need.
Lieutenant Bassel Ibrahim,
Big shout out to you, man, because you are the real deal. You walk and talk it,
and you definitely live it. But yeah, and as soon as we started
they started their introductions and whatnot. After the introductions,
went 0 to 100
real quick.
Like how? How did it go from 0 to 100?
I don't want to give.
No, yeah, don't give anything away. But like how was it just like boom, hit the ground running, and here's the shit?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was pretty much hit the
ground running. And when we did, we lost people within the first several minutes.
Wow.
Minutes. Yeah, and it was It was really.
Was it? I mean, again, I don't know what you can and cannot say. Was it you lost them within minutes just because of a workout you were doing, or just gearing up for time? I don't know what it entails, and it is kind of like some of this material seems pretty top secret because I know he likes to keep it close to his chest because he likes that element of surprise because that's what it is, yes. Right? It's a bad tour, like exactly, so. Yeah. What was it? Was it just the first minutes of just that intensity, and they just couldn't take it?
It was a combination of both. It was a combination of both, is all I will say.
So I saw a picture. Chance Craven was there, taking amazing photos. That dude is another person who absolutely has given so much back to the fire service.
He does amazing things.
Chance Craven,
absolutely.
Yeah, Jason and Samantha Worthy, them two.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm really impressed of what they've accomplished so quickly with their photography and their mission of being about the fire service and giving back, and just the fact that he always says the pictures are for the firefighters. This is not a glory thing. This is for them. Do with what you will with the photos. I don't expect you don't even have to tag me. I'm here to spread the message, and the fact that they're constantly giving back to the communities and through fundraising and raffles or any money they make, it's literally going back. And I got a chance to meet him at Joey D, and his whole team are just super solid guys and just wicked nice. And it's amazing how they come in. And I actually was impressed at how I kind of just glanced over. And I was listening to Mo Davis talk about roof operations, and there's Chance and his team just walking down the road, and they got these big backpacks on, and and their cameras going, and I knew right away that was his whole entourage, and it was impressive to see, and they were just super humble and happy to be there. So I saw a picture that Chance took, and it's you. I think you might have been doing a push-up or something. Did you know what I'm talking about? It's you yelling. You're like, you got like this pain on your face, but it's I mean you're like mouth open. You could tell you're screaming to get that one more rep out of you. And again, I think it might have. You know what I'm talking about? Were you in the middle of a push-up?
And everybody hit me up on that picture, and I can honestly say I don't remember because I was too busy focusing on not dying.
Yeah, it was that was intensity. That was a picture of ultimate intensity that you're gonna get that rep out of you, and it's an impressive photo because honestly I think that's what that one bad tour is when people talk about it, and the way Bassel talks about it, and preparing yourself mentally to push through that pain, that wall. You're gonna have to scream it out, and if you scream it out, you're screaming it out. But pain needs to come out somewhere, and that's how you get that one more rep out. And the fact that you even say you don't remember just says that, like, that you're in that moment, you're in that zen, that mindset of like, I'm gonna get through this, and that determination, and that picture, that face, that's immediately what came to my mind was that's determination right there. That brother's is going through something, and he's in it to win it. So it was really impressive. So you passed the one bad tour and you came out on top, brother. Like, what was the feeling making it through that 24-hour?
That feeling of making the whole 24 hours, which I still don't know how I did it, but making that 24 hours. And if you're really passionate about the fire service and you want to verify that everything that you do when no one is looking, everything that you do is worth it, that is the feeling that you will get. That is the feeling that I was striving for, and that is the feeling that I was longing for so long, even back then in Hawaii. Because, imposter syndrome, like, we all have it, we all suffer it. And I I think we have imposter syndrome,
because it comes from a place of us caring too much. We just love the job.
but going through one bad tour and completing the class, it really filled my heart. It really filled my heart.
Was your it's just you went, right? That your wife didn't travel with you or anything. So
It was just me.
did you cry big tears when you spoke to her on the phone?
I think I cried
When they congratulated everybody, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think Cats took a picture of that, but I think others may have caught that. But I started crying in front of everybody as I shook everyone's hand because it meant something to me.
Sure, absolutely.
You work hard for something that you want to accomplish so much.
you're good. You're passionate about it,
It means something to you. You worked your ass off for it for months.
and you did it. And that
You're a better man
experience,
for it.
Exactly. Getting that one bad tour coin,
it's sweet.
So now you completed that, which is an amazing feat. What's next?
Man,
Marcos Orozco, he put it in my head to do Colorado smoke diver. So
Oh, all right.
Colorado smoke diver or Georgia or Bass, he had texted me the other day. He said ultimately he wants me to do Florida smoke diver. So that's probably on the radar too, as well as Georgia Flames.
Right on, brother. Let's go. Let's do it. That's awesome.
and for this class, we had
About 7 smoke divers in our class.
Yeah.
about 7 of them.
And they even said the PT was legit.
They was legit.
Are your muscles still sore?
No, I'm good to go. I am
Yeah.
good to go.
Yeah.
What
They
did you
talk
do?
about-
Yep, go ahead.
No, they talk about
After you do your 24, they joke about, all right, are you guys ready for another mandatory 24? So I thought that's funny.
You got mandoed.
Exactly. He was like, oh, this is what they do to us in Orlando Fire. I'm gonna do this to you guys now. But that was
Oh,
that
man.
was pretty funny.
What did you do to recover after the 24 was over? How did you, if you had that soreness, if your body was aching, was there anything special or anything different that you did? Or was there any tips to get a faster recovery?
all I did was I stretched.
I ate a good meal and I went to sleep. But if it wasn't for Matt McGee's advice,
About the cranberry juice, I honestly think I would have been out.
because I was cramping so much. My hands were doing weird sorcery things and I couldn't control it. But having that cranberry juice, man, that was a game changer.
Tell me about the cranberry.
Yeah, I don't even know the benefits,
But coming from Matt McGee, he was like,
take this cranberry juice.
I don't know
What smoke diver program
they had it at. He talks about it in one of the podcasts. I don't know if it's Oklahoma or Tennessee, but those guys had cranberry juice and I took his advice and I bought it and it worked.
Within
shit.
minutes, my cramping was gone.
It was gone.
Nice. Okay. I'll have to remember that. That's really good to know. I haven't heard that one. So that's a tool for the toolbox right there for doing anything extreme. I like that.
For
So
sure.
you got the smoke divers now or in flames ahead of you. Are there any other places you're planning to go for, say, conferences or trainings?
Well, I told my wife
After one bad tour, I would kind of tone it down to focus on our family. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do that, but I already have my vacation plan for Dagum in May.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to be there with you.
Yep, that is
An automatic guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like again, like that is my automatic. That is my time away. That is my Zen time. And that's the brotherhood meeting right there. That's cool.
For sure.
I'll finally be able to officially meet you in person.
Yes, sir.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm planning to go to Bears of the Oath in Georgia in February.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you talk about Tom, how he just said, come on down, right? Shane Bentley runs an amazing program for Bears of the Oath. He's another brother. He's another one who just wants to better the service, that he cares about the mission. He cares about firefighters. He loves us all. And, I don't get rich from doing this program. This is just me. This is why I do it, is to learn about you, to learn about all the people with their special journeys. And I reached out to Shane and like, dude, I really want to go, but honestly, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
And he says that the thing that we don't say at Bears of the Oath is we never say no. So if you want to come, we'll get you there. So
That's awesome.
I was extremely humbled that he says, you're going to come to this. We'll make it happen. So again, like we're all the same, man. We're all got struggles, and it's not cheap going to these conferences and one bad tours and DAGM and county fire tact. All these things cost money, but the fact is like a lot of these guys who put on these programs, they do what they can to help people to go to these things. And I'm extremely blessed to be able to meet people like you and to be able to meet people like C.A.N. and the DAGM push cadre and First In conference, like and Chief McCormick there, he absolutely loves the mission of the fire service, and he promotes it all the time, that he has scholarships set up. And the fire conference, the firemanship conference, same thing, right? They want members to be there. They if you can't financially do it, reach out and we'll work with you and get it there. And I think that's something to be said too, that they have some really big conferences going on. But if you reach out to a lot of these people who run them and you say, look, I really want to go, I hear great things about them, but I can't afford it. I can afford a plane ticket, but I can't afford the registration fee.
For sure.
Reach out to them and they'll do something for you. And I think that's something said, that's the brotherhood right there. And it's like that spark for you, right? Like it started with you reaching out to Tom with a question and him saying, hey, hey, come to Texas. We're doing a training, and there's no fee. We just want you down here so you can learn about it. That's where it starts. That's that spark, is when you have those good interactions with people who give a shit about the mission, about firemanship. That it's not dollars and cents all the time. It's not about making money and how many T-shirts you can sell. It's how many members can you get to come down here to bond and to network and to bring home that sense of pride of what you just did with a bunch of people you've never met before. And then you've walked away and you've made 50 new friends. You've made 50 new brothers and sisters. So
For sure. Yep.
Exactly.
Dude, you have an amazing mission. I mean, amazing story. And what an incredible journey to go from Honolulu, Hawaii to White Sands, New Mexico. I mean, that's incredible. Now, do you have family in Hawaii still? Do you have any moms, dads, sisters, brothers, cousins?
Yeah, all my family is still there, and ever
Since I left, I haven't been back. And the reason I haven't been back is just because it's so damn expensive.
Yeah.
it's just so expensive.
Yeah. I want to go back and visit. I want to see my family. I call them every time. I want to see my, brothers and sisters in the fire department up there. I do plan to go back in June 2025. So hopefully until we reach June 2025, I get to see them soon.
Well, I hope you get to. It's dude, I am just so impressed by your drive and determination of what you've accomplished. And just a short time of what you've been doing, man. Like, you have an incredible journey already, and you've accomplished so much.
I am a nobody.
I just love it. Yeah.
And like we said earlier, right before we started the recording, I'm the same way. I am a nobody. And that's why I do this, is because the nobodies have amazing journeys. Sure. And I want to hear more about the nobodies, because that's who we all are. Whether you're a big name or small name, it doesn't matter. We're all somebody and we're all nobody. And to be able to share your experiences and that smile that you always have on your face is going to make other people smile when they see this and they listen to it, because that's all you ever do, man, is you're always smiling. And it makes me smile, and it makes me really honored to be part of your circle and to be your friend. And I can't wait to meet you in person at the DAGM. So, Bryson, you got anything else you want to add before we start winding up?
I was told a long time ago back in Hawaii,
working under Lieutenant Jason O'Leary, he had said this to me one night, and ever since then, I was just blown away. He told me, Bryce, if the apparatus could talk, if the
firehouse could talk, if all of our tools and equipment could talk to us,
what would they say about us as firefighters?
Ever since he told me that, man, I was like, man, I think that's why I just continue to train. Because I'm like, man, if our engine could talk, if our tools could talk, if our hose loads could talk to us, what would they really say about us? Are we living up to the oath that we swore? Are we training enough? What are we doing? Are we making the fire service better for them? So I'll leave it with that.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful, brother. I love it. Man, I appreciate you. Thank you for being on here. And you did great for your first time ever being on a podcast. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you getting out of your comfort zone and taking the time to talk with me about your journey. And talking a little bit about One Bad Tour. Can you just give a background of One Bad Tour? If people aren't familiar with it, can you just what the mission is?
For sure. So one bad tour is a
24-hour continuous class. You'll go over truck operations, forcible entry, ladders, fireground survival. It's stuff that you already know. It's nothing advanced. It's basic, but you have to be beautiful in the basics because advanced firefighting is just the basics really fast. So if you're interested in one bad tour, you can reach out to me personally. I can talk to you a little bit about it. We're not going to give anything away, but I'm telling you, if you're searching for that feeling and you want to feel that your heart is fulfilled, take that class.
If you don't get in the first time,
Do not
stop. Keep working on your craft. Don't give up. It don't matter. It's gonna count someday, and it'll always be for them.
Dude, so much. You've nailed it. You just so many mic drops and within 5 minutes. So, daggum, man, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Daggum.
Daggum, brother. Daggum. All right, man. Well, thank you so much, Bryson. Question I got to ask you too is when you're working out and you're getting motivated, is there any kind of soundtrack you have going on? Do you listen to music when you're working out? What motivates you to keep on going? Like I love listening to the heaviest shit I can find in my ears.
Yeah.
So I'm always listening to hardcore music. It's the metal that's blasting in my ears. That gets me going. It gets me angry and it makes me run faster, lift more. So what is it that you love? Do you like to listen to country? Is country a thing in Hawaii?
It's starting to become a thing. There's a lot of local Hawaiian people in Hawaii that listen to country, but honestly, I used to listen to music. I don't anymore. And it's because of Marcos, Logan Broberg, Matt McGee. You just learn to suffer in silence now.
Yeah. And honestly, when you say suffer in silence, for me, it's I can't work out without something in my ears. I got to listen to something. And it's not just like, and it's not the, for me, it's not the ignoring the pain. Like it's definitely, you got to deal with the pain, right? You got to suffer with that. But for me, it's like, I just need it helps me to just get angry at, cause like the gym is my therapy.
Yeah.
It's kind of the only thing, sad to say, but it's really the only thing I make time for really, except for my family. But really, I make sure that I have my time to be at the gym and to beat the shit out of whatever I want to beat the shit out of, whether it's weights or the treadmill or the Stairmaster. But that music just amps me up and helps me get that anger out and makes me, someone I can be bearable around. So, I love it though. Yeah, suffer in silence, and I appreciate you, man. So, Bryson Hue, graduate of the One Bad Tour. Congratulations, brother. Thank you for being on the C.A.N Report. Mahalo to you.
Much mahalo.
I appreciate
Thank you for having me. Yes, sir.
All right. If anyone has any questions, please reach out to Bryson Hue. He's a wealth of information. He loves sharing knowledge. He loves sharing the passion. And if you need more information, you can reach out to Bassel. You can reach out to Proactive Writ. That's the same company he's operating in. He's very good on social media. They got another one coming up in January, so I'll be excited to hear that. I got my brother Brian Rondu, who is going to be on that One Bad Tour. So I'm excited to hear his story. He is amped up. So we got a New Hampshire guy going to One Bad Tour in Florida. So cheers to the Granite State for sending one of their own to the One Bad Tour. Let's see what the New Hampshire boys during the middle of winter gets to go to Florida to. He's going to crush it, man. He's been training hard. So appreciate you, man. So thank you all for coming in, taking the time to listen to me. We're a bunch of nobodies, but we're something to somebody. So thank you very much. And you all stay well, and we'll see you soon.